Hello, and welcome to Fluent English Pod. I'm Emma, your host.
And I'm Dave, your co-host. How's your day been so far, Emma?
It's been going really well, Dave. I had a great start to the day, and I'm excited for today's discussion. How about you?
I'm feeling fantastic, and I couldn't agree more. I think today's episode is going to be a really interesting one.
Absolutely. Today, we're diving into something that shapes all of our lives, our daily routines. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, we all follow a pattern that keeps us grounded.
Exactly. Whether we realize it or not, our routines impact our productivity, mood, and overall well-being. But Emma, what exactly does a typical day look like for different people?
That's a great question. Our routines are built around our habits, which vary depending on our lifestyle and responsibilities. In today's episode, we'll take you through our daily routines from morning to night and discuss how small habits can make a big difference.
That's right. We'll also share some insights on how a structured routine can help bring balance and stability to your day. It's all about discovering what works best for you.
Exactly. But before we dive in, we're introducing a fun new way to help you learn and remember new vocabulary. Throughout the episode, listen carefully for new words and phrases, and be sure to comment down the ones you learned today. Let's make learning interactive and engaging.
Let's start with the morning routine. Emma, how do you usually begin your day?
Well, my mornings are quite structured. I typically wake up around 6 a.m. and take a few deep breaths before getting out of bed. It helps me feel calm and energized. Then I head to the bathroom to brush my teeth and splash some cold water on my face. It's the perfect wake-up call.
That sounds like a refreshing way to start the day. I wake up a bit earlier, around 7 a.m., since I like to get a head start on work. The first thing I do is drink a glass of water to rehydrate, and then I follow the same routine, brushing my teeth and washing my face. It's amazing how these small steps can set the tone for the rest of the day.
Exactly. After freshening up, I make sure to have a nutritious breakfast to kickstart my day. I usually go for something light yet energizing, like a bowl of yogurt topped with granola and fresh fruits, or a slice of whole grain toast with mashed avocado and a sprinkle of seasoning. Having a well-balanced breakfast keeps me feeling full and gives me the energy I need to stay focused during my classes. Skipping breakfast isn't an option for me because I know how important it is to fuel my body properly for a productive morning.
Breakfast is a must for me too. I like to keep it simple but nutritious. Most days I go for scrambled eggs with whole grain toast, but if I'm in a rush, a fruit smoothie with some protein works just as well. A good breakfast fuels me for the day ahead and keeps me focused. After eating, I take a few minutes to check my emails and go through my to-do list. This helps me stay on top of any important tasks, meetings, or deadlines. Knowing what's coming up allows me to plan my day efficiently and stay productive right from the start.
That's a smart approach, Dave. I do something similar. I take a few minutes to go over my schedule for the day, whether it's checking my class timetable, reviewing assignments, or making a quick to-do list. This small habit helps me feel more in control and prepared for whatever comes my way. When I know what to expect, I can prioritize my tasks better and avoid feeling overwhelmed. Having that bit of organization in the morning really sets a positive tone for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. And now, let's memorize some key vocabulary from our morning routine. Rehydrate, to replenish your body with water after sleeping. Splash, to throw or apply liquid quickly. Nutritious, containing essential nutrients for good health. To-do list, a list of tasks planned for the day.
Thanks, Dave. Now let's move on to the afternoon routine. For me, afternoons are when I feel the most productive and get the bulk of my work done. I usually have back-to-back classes followed by study sessions, which can make the afternoon feel quite packed. That's why I make sure to take short breaks in between to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Even a quick 5-minute stretch or stepping outside for some fresh air makes a big difference. It helps refresh my mind and keeps me focused so I can continue working effectively.
That's a great strategy, Emma. I can totally relate because my afternoons tend to be quite hectic as well. Most of my time is spent attending meetings, collaborating on projects, and working through important tasks. Sitting for long periods can be tiring, so I always make sure to take small breaks whenever possible. Whether it's grabbing a quick snack, stretching my legs, or even just standing up and walking around for a few minutes, it really helps me reset. Taking these little moments to recharge keeps my mind sharp and prevents burnout, especially when I have a long day ahead.
Exactly. A short break can do wonders for your energy levels. Speaking of recharging, one of the ways I make sure I stay energized is by eating the right kind of lunch. I try to keep my meals light but still filling something like a fresh salad with grilled chicken, a healthy wrap, or a simple sandwich. If I eat too much or have something too heavy, I start to feel sluggish and it becomes harder to concentrate. So, I make a conscious effort to eat foods that provide energy without making me feel weighed down.
That's a smart approach. I follow a similar routine when it comes to lunch. I prefer meals that are nutritious and balanced, so I often go for something like brown rice with a mix of colorful vegetables or a turkey wrap with a side of fruit. Eating the right foods helps me maintain my focus and keeps me from feeling that mid-afternoon energy slump. It's all about fueling your body with the right nutrients so that you can stay productive throughout the day.
Exactly. After lunch, I take a few moments to organize my thoughts and plan out the rest of my tasks for the afternoon. This is the time when I focus on completing my assignments, going through my notes, and preparing for upcoming classes or projects. I try to tackle the most important or challenging tasks first while I still have enough energy to work efficiently. By the end of the afternoon, I feel accomplished knowing that I've made progress on my to-do list.
That's a really good habit, Emma. Prioritizing tasks and tackling the harder ones earlier in the day is a great way to stay on top of things. I do the same. I dedicate my afternoon hours to handling high-priority tasks and getting through the most demanding parts of my workload. This way, by the time the day starts winding down, I don't feel rushed or stressed. Instead, I can end my workday feeling productive and satisfied, knowing that I've taken care of my responsibilities. How about your evenings, Emma?
Evenings are my time to unwind and relax. After dinner, I like to go for a short walk or do some light yoga to help me de-stress after a long day. Moving my body, even just a little, helps me clear my mind and transition from a busy day to a more peaceful night.
That sounds like a great way to slow down and reset. For me, evenings are all about unwinding too. After a long day of work, I try to disconnect from screens and technology for a while. I usually listen to music or read a book. It's my way of detaching from work and transitioning into a more relaxed state. Some days, if I have extra time, I'll even go for an evening jog or do some light stretching. It really helps me sleep better at night.
That's so important. Taking time to relax in the evening can make a big difference. Speaking of evenings, for dinner, I usually go for something quick and healthy, like stir-fried vegetables with tofu or pasta with a light sauce. I try to keep it balanced, not too heavy, but still filling enough to keep me satisfied.
That sounds delicious. I like to keep it simple too. Grilled fish with steamed vegetables or a rice bowl with some protein, like chicken or beans. I also try to avoid eating too late because it makes it harder for me to fall asleep. If I feel like snacking before bed, I usually go for something light like a handful of nuts or some yogurt.
That's a good idea. After dinner, I always make sure to brush my teeth and wash my face before bed. It's a small part of my routine, but it makes a big difference in feeling refreshed. Plus, having a set bedtime routine helps signal to my body that it's time to rest.
I totally agree. A nighttime routine is so important. Before going to bed, I make it a point to avoid screens. No social media, no emails. Just some quiet time for myself. Instead, I spend time reading or writing in my journal. Writing down my thoughts from the day helps me reflect and clear my mind before sleeping. I also try to go to bed around the same time every night, ideally by 10:30 p.m., so I can get enough rest for the next day. A good night's sleep makes all the difference in feeling productive and energized in the morning.
That's a great habit. Sleep is so important for both our physical and mental well-being. And now let's talk about our final vocabulary breakdown. Unwind, to relax after a busy day. Detach, to step away from work or stress. Transition, to move from one state to another. Screen time, time spent looking at electronic devices.
Thank you so much for the explanation, Emma. It's always helpful to understand vocabulary in real-life contexts. It really helps to see how we use these words in actual conversations.
You're absolutely right, Dave. That's why I always try to use examples that reflect daily life. Vocabulary isn't just about learning words, it's about using them to express real thoughts and experiences. I hope our listeners can relate to what we talked about today.
Me too. It's like building a solid foundation for a daily routine, right? Once you start using new words in context, they become second nature.
And don't forget, it's all about consistency. The more you practice, the more fluent you'll become. So speaking of practice, I have an exercise for our viewers today.
Oh, nice. What do you have for them?
Here's a fun one. I want our listeners to try making their own daily routine using at least 5 of the new words we learned today. You can comment it down below or share it with us. For example, you could say, in the morning, I wake up at 7 a.m., then I brush my teeth and eat breakfast before heading out to work. The goal is to feel comfortable using these words in context And remember, don't feel worried if the words seem simple, because we all start with simple words, and it's the first step toward fluency.
That sounds awesome. And it's a great way to integrate what we learned today into your everyday life. I bet it will really help to remember and use the vocabulary more naturally.
And don't be afraid to get creative with it. Make it personal and add your unique activities. It's all about building your routine step by step.
Love that idea. So, to wrap it up, let's remember to keep practicing and building those healthy routines, both in language and in life. Thanks for tuning in today.
Yes, thank you all for being here with us. We hope this episode was helpful and that you feel more confident using English in your daily routine. Keep going, and we'll see you next time.
Until then, peace.